Hi, my name is Samuel and I refuse to make Pong first. So I've always had a million hobbies, anything creative, and I'll go down the rabbit hole for a while. I'll buy all the gear and then probably burn out, drop the thing as if it never existed, and then I'll remember it 8 months later and the cycle continues. Hit like and subscribe for more relatable ADHD content. I've been tinkering with video game mechanics since I was a teenager, mostly just using the Game Maker drag and drop system. I made a little sparkly particle effect systems and little sprites of items and characters and things, but I never did it with like a video game in mind. That sounded too intimidating. I just liked experimenting with stuff. I even did a lot of 3D models in SketchUp and made video game music with a totally legitimate copy of Fruity Loops from LimeWire. I use an open source program now, it's all good. Actually, we are currently listening to some of the music as we speak. So I had all these little assets here and there, but never a project to use them in until 2019, where certain events compelled every person to be alone for a while. Everyone started knitting and making banana bread, but I, recluse that I am, was largely unaffected, but did end up actually sitting down and having a look at all my creative endeavours. I haven't completed any great works, all these unfinished projects. I have a handful of first drafts of novels that I'm never going to finish, dozens of short stories and hundreds of pieces of art, but it's all unrelated. Not even the style is consistent, so when, the big cough happened, I'd started making everything part of some fantasy world instead. So I started being more mindful of what my art or writing actually meant. So now I have this Bible of world lore, a bunch of sort of meaningfully connected concepts, a full pantheon of gods, a world filled with various cultures, but nowhere for it to go. So last year, 2023, I made another big decision. Well, I thought I'd do all this video game adjacent stuff, why not actually finally attempt to make a game? So this can be the project, the project, the one that all of this has been about, and the one that I don't drop halfway through, the one that is actually, has my name on it completed, that I can point to and say see Dad. I wasn't convinced that I could stick to it, but it's been a full year of fairly consistent work. I've learned the basics of GML, which is the coding language Game Maker Studio 2 uses. I've been working on improving my pixel art, getting pretty good at it. Got some pretty complex systems completed. So, for all intents and purposes, as we come into 2024, it looks like I'm actually gonna get this done one day. It might be a few years. So, well, I'm really bad at social media. Twitter never stuck. Instagram is a constant struggle to keep updated. That's where I post all the artwork I feel didn't completely fail and drive me crazy. I really don't think I can get into Reels and TikTok. Maybe I'm too old. I don't feel super comfortable on mic. Maybe you can tell. Maybe that'll change doing this. But maybe I can do a YouTube video once a month. Because when you have the kind of dysregulations I have, you kind of got to aim low. I came to the realization with my artwork that as uncomfortable as one might feel showing one's creative works, it's not actually completed until you let people see it. Not for clout or sales or even feedback, but you show people because sharing is the completion of the process. It's also just a really good thing to hold yourself accountable with. So if I knew I wasn't going to show anyone a piece, I probably wouldn't try as hard to make something cool, right? I don't know. Yes, there's a marketing aspect, but it's also just a nice communal thing to do. It's good to participate. So all this is to say, that's what these videos are going to be for the game. So yes, views will be nice, and it's nice to think that yes, it could help the game sell too, but that's way far off and it's not really about that either. The plan is, I'm going to use these devlogs to hold myself accountable. I put my name on these, and as anxious as it makes me, this is me making an effort to participate. So, without further ado, The Great Work, working title, is a pixel art farming sim RPG with a dark Baroque theme filled with secrets. This game is about visiting different places in the world and making decisions that will affect what happens in those places. Basic combat, a la old Zelda. Farming, a la Stardew, but the emphasis will be that there is a story in each place you visit. So, the desert lands of Versi are in the throes of civil war. The classical kingdom of Pavos has recently outlawed worship, and Ivica is an isolated jungle civilization whose hunting parties can find no prey. So there will be 5 locations, 5 different stories. I think I'm going to keep it to 5. And you, as the player, are a child who has been placed on the Isle by some divine force. I don't want to spoil everything. But you can pick where you go at the start of each day from this Isle, and at the end you are delivered back to the Isle. You can bring seeds and saplings to the Isle to propagate crops, some of them with mystical properties. You can find and buy different tools on your journey to give you the ability, for instance, to chop down trees, or dig the earth, or launch projectiles. So I've completed this layer system for the clearing. The clearing is the bit where you can farm. It's the bit with the good soil, as it were. You can remove the turf and the soil and even the stone. So in order to develop the land in any way you like, you'll dig trenches for irrigation, you remove the soil to stop grasses spreading, etc, etc. So that's the elevator pitch. I'll warn you now, I'm still a novice with code. I have some odd deficiencies I have to work with, but my progress I've made over this past year, I've figured out how to save game data and that layer mechanic you saw, and an inventory system, a collision system, pause menu, day-night cycle. I have all the world building already done. So, with all that considered, I think I can figure out how to do anything else I'm going to need. So I think that's it. Once a month, little showcase. Wish me luck.